Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. This presentation on trees, an Islamic presentation by Zahid and Adam.
जिंदगी मिलती है तुमको दायमी जिंदगी मिलती है तुमको दायमी पुकारो या रसूल अल्लाह या रसूल
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We begin in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. My dear brothers and sisters and children, the video you just saw before we started was of beautiful trees. These are on our journey towards New York, where I went to New York on a journey and we saw all these nice trees as we're traveling on the 81 highway, and you can see in the background all the trees and the mountains and the beautiful creation of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How this topic came to be was me and my son Adam were driving home from grandfather, Imam Amjad Ali, my dad, and we're looking at the trees and we're wondering, what about trees? Most people don't think about the beautiful trees Allah has created. So in this little video we're going to talk about is the creation of the plants and the trees. As we know, on the creation video we did about the plants and the vegetarian was created on a Monday. So you see, on a Monday the vegetarian was created, the trees and the plants, long before Prophet Adam was created. Because when Adam was created, when the soul was putting in his body, you remember, when it reached his stomach, even before it reached his foot, he wanted to go grab the beautiful fruits of Jannat, of heaven. So the trees were created before him. Now, we want to talk about this video about the benefits. People look at the trees and the flowers, and they look at its beauty. One of the benefits of the flowers and the plants is its beauty. It's a beautiful creation of Allah. And remember what Allah says in the Quran, not a leaf falls without the permission of Allah. And all of this was written 50,000 years before it was even created. But the trees are so beautiful. The trees, the plants give us. The flowers from the plants, before some of them become fruits to eat, their beauty is, we look at it, it relaxes the human body. So the flowers give us beauty. What else the flowers give us? When some of the flowers in vegetables, they turn into fruits. The apple has a beautiful flower, and then the flower turns into an apple. The cherry, the same thing, the pear, the peach, the cucumbers, the squash has a nice yellow flower, and then it turns into a beautiful squash, a beautiful cucumber that you could eat. So what are we saying now? Aha, there's another benefit. The plants give us fruits and vegetables which are good for you. We will do, when we talk about healing later on inshallah, we'll talk about the benefits of the vegetables and the fruits. So we get one benefit is the beauty of them, and another benefit is the food that they provide for us. And talk about beauty. If you ever been in a warm country like Canada, upstate New York, any place that has snow, and where everything is white in the winter time, and if you travel in the winter to Florida, the West Indies, India, China, Africa, and you see all the beautiful trees, it makes you feel alive. When you see in the winter time everything is dead, Allah says everything is dead and He gave life, and we see that in the winter time, and then in spring all the trees come up to life. Now this is amazing with the life that it gives of the beautified. And people in countries where they have high jobs, stressful life, they always say we go back to nature. They go camping, hiking, and when they go and walk in a place full of trees, it's peaceful. It adds serenity to us. It releases stress from the body. So this is another benefit of the trees. Now, there's so much, but we're going to try to cover as much as we can. Next, what does the tree gives us? When it's raining, the other day it was raining, and the sun is, the day before that, the sun was boiling hot. And Mr. Adam, my son, we went to cut in the grass, and he said, Dad, the tree is giving us shade. So the tree shades us from the sun, and it makes us cool for us. And when it's raining, it shades us from the rain. And the animals, hayawana, is animals, they take shelter when it's raining underneath I should say, the trees. So the trees provide shelter for us, it provides shelter for the animals. Now, let's add on more to shelter. The wood, the lumber from the trees, they cut and they make into house. So we made, the old days, they make into house, solid wood. This was our lively dwelling, where we live, is made from the trees. In the days of the Prophet ﷺ and before, the trees they would use for the house, and then the branch they would put on top and make that the roof. So they made for roof. They made for shelter. So these are some beautiful things that the trees provide. In Guyana and the West Indies, the coconut trees, the leaves from the coconut trees, we strip them and we have something, a long stick that comes out, we call pointer. Pointer, we take a whole bunch together and we wrap it in a cord, and this becomes a broom. This is called a pointer broom in the West Indies and Guyana. And this is what we use for sweeping all the dirt and the dust and everything. It was our broom. So you see, the tree is providing us a thing of cleanliness to clean. So we have shelter, we have cleanliness for cleaning. Now, what else do we have of benefits of the trees? Well, the trees also provide us with its bark. Its bark is good for healing. We have cinnamon. Cinnamon is from bark. It's good when we do the natural stuff. We're talking about more. So the skin, the bark, which is their bark, is used for medicine. We use that for herbs. The stems, the fruits, the leaves of plants are used for healing. We have like Karila, bitter melon. The leaves and the stem is used for diabetes. It's used for regulating thinning the blood, and many other systems. There's Sena. Sena is used for cleaning out the colon and the stomach. These are from leaves. We make pangrama, which is a fruit. We're talking about all this in the healing stuff, but there is pangrama, the leaves, or the skin, you boil for tea. Rooibos tea that we know we carry, that product is made from the leaves. The green tea, all these things, the leaves we drink as for tea. So we use that. So we use for eating, we use for drinking. In Canada, we have the maple syrup. There's a syrup, the sap. The sap from the tree is used for making, put on your pancakes, and is a sugar supplement. We get from sugar cane the beautiful brown sugar. That is the natural sugar, the real sugar before it becomes bleached or white. But that sugar is from sugar cane. And we have beet that they make sugar from. And a stevia is another sugar supplement, a leaf that you can get for sugar. And there's many other things with that. In Guyana, we also have chico. Chico, we call in Guyana sapadilla. Sapadilla, you make gum, chewing gum. In Guyana is made from the sapadilla. The rubber tree, they take the sap and they make rubber. So you see, they can make things, so many benefits that we get from the trees, for the healing, for products that we use. Aloe vera we use for shampoo, we use for drinking, we use all these different things from the beans, the earth, the beans we have from the ground and from outside. I'm talking about peanuts, we have potato, all of these things that we use for eating. We also have the barley and the flour, the millet, and all these different buckwheat, all these different types of flours that we could use to eat from. So I mean, there's so many different benefits from it. Medicine benefit, health benefit from the trees. Now, what is interesting is that something very important. is the air we breathe, oxygen. What the trees do is that when we breathe out carbon, CO2, carbon dioxide. We breathe that gas out. And when we breathe in, we're breathing O for oxygen. So oxygen is O. CO2 is carbon and oxygen combined. That's carbon dioxide. Out. What is the beautiful thing Allah created the trees for us? Is the very air that we breathe. To purify the air that we breathe, the trees take in the carbon dioxide and it gives out oxygen. Okay, we're gonna continue in 1 second. Okay, so we're talking about the carbon. So the leaves of the trees breathe in the carbon dioxide and it gives out oxygen. So you see, it's a beautiful thing Allah has made the trees that we rely on for a very air that we breathe that keeps us going. If we were to go in a room with no oxygen, we die. So we need that oxygen. And we need the food to eat to give our body sustenance. So the tree provides oxygen, and there's certain trees and plants that goes that's good to have in your house, like the money tree, the areca palm, and the snake or the Malala tongue in the West Indies, that actually helps to purify toxins. It purifies toxins in the air and cleans it. So this is very good for the trees. The trees also purify toxins from the ground and the soil. The roots purify the soil. You see, when we have rain that comes down, if we didn't have the grass or the trees, the soil will wash away. But the trees and the grass and the vegetarian, they hold the soil firm and tight, so the soil does not wash away. So this is another benefit for it. Now, one thing, when it's raining, the trees block the rain. It also blocks wind. And one thing that people don't know, the trees is a sound barrier. The trees also block sound. So if you put a fence of trees, it can help block, big trees, or block the sound from cars and all those. So it's a sound block, it's a wind block, it's a rain block. So there's so many different things, my dear brothers and sisters and children, on trees. You know, it's interesting. Quran says, look at of all Allah's creation. Look and study and reflect. And this is a beautiful subject, because we're looking and understanding all the beautiful wonders of the trees that Allah has created, for herbs, for medicine, for shelter. And even one thing, clothes. Trees is used for clothes. People say, wait a minute, how is it used for clothes? Well, I'll tell you. When Prophet Adam and Hawa, peace and blessing be upon them, when they were in the garden and they ate of the forbidden tree, right, we talked about in a different khutbah, what happened when they realized they had no clothes on? What did they use for clothes? The fig leaf. The fig leaf was used as clothes. Amazing that you could use that as clothes. And what's interesting, when we do, inshallah, our khutbah on what happens in heaven after Qiyamah Day judgment, and then you go to heaven, your wardrobe, right? I shouldn't say wardrobe, but where your clothes is stored is in trees. You open the tree's leaf and you get a beautiful green bouquet of silk clothes and everything else. That's another subject. But so the trees are used as clothes. And what was interesting too is that in the beginning we started using the trees to eat from, to wear from shelter, and then for herbal medicine. So since the beginning of time, the trees were used. Now the trees are alive. When you see them and the wind blows, it blows them in motion. They're singing the praises of Allah. They even watch with storms. If you see winter storms of trees, they bow down in frustration for the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are some of the things that people don't realize. They're alive. People check machines to see the readings, and they feel the energy is there. They're Allah's creation. They're alive. Everything Allah has created is alive. And when we eat the raw fruits and vegetables, we're eating the energy into the body. When we cook it with aluminum aluminum pots is another subject, but when we cook it, you kill the food, you kill the energy, you kill the electricity. We'll talk about healing on another subject. So those are some of the benefits that you have. One other thing, that when you go to school and you're watching the teacher write notes on the blackboard, and you have to write on something called a paper. Do you ever ask them question where the paper comes from? It comes from trees. People don't realize it comes from trees. They take the pulp of the wood of trees and they make it into paper that we use. The old days, they used to pound it, and then dry it, and then they write on the harder ticker. Now they refine it, and they have tin sheets, white paper, blue, green, all kinds of beautiful colors of paper. Paper comes from trees. Your newspaper, all this stuff is from trees. You see, people don't think of all the benefits trees provide. Even the lead pencil they write from, the outside housing of your pencil, is made out of wood. Everything. Even these days, the new furnitures that they have, they use compressor, kitchen cupboard, all the stuff is sawdust. The leftover things, they glue them and they create wood from those things. So wood is used. So I mean, man,